Hey guys, my name is Priscilla Elias and today I'll answer a question I've been getting quite often on my Instagram, which is something I haven't talked about in detail before, but that you will now know all about. My full editing workflow. After all, what is the perfect photography editing workflow? Does such a thing exist? What is the best way to not only edit your photos, but also transfer, store, and keep them safe before, during, and after editing? I've been using the workflow I will show you for about 3 years now, and because of that, I never ran out of disk space. I never lost a single image or edit, and I always have the photos at the palm of my hands, no matter where I'm at the moment. But before I tell you all about it, let me grab a cup of coffee. While I do that, intro. Well, before I tell you all about my workflow that has been working perfectly for me for years now, please keep in mind that what is best for me might not be the best for you. When I started working professionally as a photographer, I did some research about photography editing workflows on the internet, and before I got to what best worked for me, I tried a couple of different things. I hope that by watching this video, you can skip that step of research and that this works for you straight away. But if not, that it at least will give you some great insights to know where to start from. So let's go. After I get back from any type of photo shoot, it does not matter if it's a portrait session, a wedding, a product shoot, or a self-portrait photo shoot. The first thing I do when I step inside my house is to send the photos from my SD cards to my external HD. So here I have a folder for my personal stuff, for my portrait sessions, for my TikToks, weddings, and for my YouTube photos and videos. So let's say I did a photo session for Priscilla Elias on April 20th of 2020. I'll create a folder with the name and date, and inside this folder I will drop my raw files. Done that, I have the drive set in a way that every time that I upload my files to this external HD, they're automatically uploaded to my drive also, which means that as soon as I get home, I already have 2 backups of the work I just did. One physical, that is my external HD, and the other digital, which is my cloud service. I use Google Drive as my cloud service and this Lazy as my external HD, and I totally recommend both of them as I never had any sort of problem with any until now. I will leave a link for both of them in the description in case you want to check them out. The reason why I do keep 2 backups is because you never know. I started working with the Lazy's HDs only about a year ago, but I've lost quite a couple of external HDs in my life. And no, I did not drop them or anything. They were actually very well kept, but still, all of a sudden they simply stopped working. So the truth is, I keep my external HD mainly for the work in progress and for work that I need quick access to all the time. And then I use my cloud service because, in my point of view, it is safer, and even though it is not very quick to access and go through each one of my photos on a daily basis, it is still a way I have access to my work no matter where I'm at. So for example, every once in a while I go back to Brazil to visit my parents and spend 3 to 4, sometimes even 5 weeks there. If a client needs a photo or if I need access to any of my photos or videos, I have it all stored in my cloud. So I don't need to have my external HD or my computer with me to access anything. Plus, I've never lost anything using my cloud service, so it never stops working as it can happen to the external HDs. Now, with my backups done, I will start working on my edits. You've probably noticed I did not save any of my photos to my computer until now. And the truth is, I never will. When I started working as a photographer, I used to go back home and upload everything to my computer, edit it, and only afterwards I'd send all the files to my external HD and to the cloud. But as I started to get more and more clients, and sometimes I had 6 or even 7 works in progress at the same time, with sometimes hundreds or even thousands of raw files of each one of those sessions, I quickly started running out of disk space. I use a MacBook Pro to edit my photos, and if you're a Mac user, you probably know that unless you pay a huge amount of money, MacBooks usually do not come with much disk space. At the time I started photography, I had a 256 gigabyte internal HD, and it took me only a month to realize that that workflow would simply not work out. But what could I do then? That's when I met Lightroom Collections. And that's when I never again uploaded one single photo to my computer. I edit all of my photos straight from my external HD using Lightroom Collections. And I will not go through the process of using Lightroom Collections in this video, but if you're interested in that, I already have an entire video where I go through the whole process in detail, for which I will leave a link up here and in the description also. So once I've created a collection of my photo shoot in Lightroom, I'm ready to finally start editing. For my editings, I have the Adobe subscription that gives me access to both Lightroom and Photoshop. And the great thing about it is I can edit each one of my photos both in Lightroom and in Photoshop almost seamlessly. For weddings, events, and photo tours, I usually only work with Lightroom because most times I only do light and color correction. But for my portrait sessions and product shots, I always use both Lightroom and Photoshop. So usually I access the photo in Lightroom, open it in Photoshop like this, do the editing I need to do in Photoshop, save it in Photoshop, and as you see, it will be automatically uploaded to Lightroom as a new version of the file. Now I'll just click over this file and color grade it, because I usually use Photoshop to fix imperfections and to manipulate the image, and as I said, I use Lightroom to color grade my photos. And I will not go through the step-by-step on how I edit my photos in Photoshop and Lightroom on this video, but if you want to know how I edit my photos, I will leave a link for a couple of videos where I talk about my color grade and my portrait enhancement process and other photo editing tips related to the way I edit my photos down here in the description, in case you want to learn more about that and you want to be able to edit like I do. Oh, before I forget it, if this video helps you, please consider subscribing to my channel and also hitting the thumbs up. You will help me a whole lot and I will be super whooper duper thankful. Done that? Let's keep going. So once I finished editing all of my photos, which are not being stored in my computer, but instead in my external HD, and for that reason, you will only have access to those files if you have your HD connected to your computer. So once I'm done with the edits, I will select all of my photos and export them into two different versions that I will show you now. The first version is the social media version. It's the smaller version that my clients can use for their websites and their social media in general. So I'll select all the photos to be exported. We'll right-click it here. I'll go to Export and I'll open up my client's folder. Create another folder inside it called Edited. And inside it, another subfolder called Social Media Versions. I'll set it as the location to save my photos, optimize my settings for web photos, and hit Export. Then I'll export a second version of these files, which is the HD version, usually used for prints. I will now create a folder called HD Versions, and again place it inside my edited folder, optimize my settings for print, and again hit Export. And I did not go through the settings of my HD and my social media versions edits because I already have a video exclusively talking about the best way to export your photos. And in case you want to learn more about that, don't need to say anything, right? You got it. Done. Now I'll come to my external HD portraits. Click on the Priscilla Elias folder I just created. You will see my raw files loose into this folder and this edited folder with the HD and the social media versions. Again, all of the photos that are being saved to this external HD are automatically being sent to my cloud service. So now I'll come to my drive, find my external HD, portraits, Priscilla Elias folder, and I'll just click over the edited folder to get the link for sharing it here. I'll copy this link and now I'll just send this to my client. They will not have access to the raw files, but only to the edited ones because I'm sending them the link to this specific folder, the edited one. Now, this is important. Make sure you set your cloud to allow anyone with the link to download it, but not to edit it. That way your client will not be able to delete any photos from your cloud. When I send my clients this link, I ask them to download the files to all of their devices in up to 15 days, because after that I'm not responsible for the link anymore, and done. Now I have both my raw files and my edited files to both my external HD and my cloud service. And my clients have easy and instant access to their photos also. And maybe after you're done, you will not want to keep your raw files. Then it's okay if you delete them. I usually keep my raw files to the cloud forever, but I only keep them for a couple of months in my external HD. Unless you intend to work with your raw files anytime soon, this can be a good thing to do because it will save you a whole lot of room in your external HD, and as a result, it will last much longer. Instead of having it full in 6 months, maybe you'll be able to work with it for, I don't know, a year, 2 years maybe. And that's it. That's my entire editing workflow. To me, this is the perfect photography editing workflow. It is the workflow that best worked for me and that has not changed for the last 3 years. Now, what do you think? Does this workflow sound reasonable to you? Please let me know if this video helped you, or if you work with a different workflow that feels better to you. What is it? Please share it down below, because you might not only help me, but also other people who will end up watching this video. I'm sure I can also learn a lot from you, and it will be super nice if I can get some tips from you to improve my workflow even more. Well, enough said. That is all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching me, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao!